Match of the year. Final two categories here. The nominees.
It's getting down to the nitty-gritty, Graham.
You got it, brother. You got it. And we already know the results, but for the rest of us, for the rest of you fine folks out there who do not know the match of the year for 2015, what you guys voted was, well, before that, the nominees, Brock Lesnar, John Cena, Seth Rollins, which me and John did watch only about a month ago on the WWE Network. A phenomenal match. My first time watching it back since it happened, which I couldn't believe, but it was great. So that match from the Royal Rumble, Roman Reigns and Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania 31, Kevin Owens and Finn Balor for the NXT Championship at the Beast in the East Special, John Cena versus Kevin Owens at Money in the Bank, / Elimination Chamber, doesn't really matter, they're kind of the same match, Bayley versus Sasha Banks at NXT TakeOver Brooklyn, and then Brock Lesnar versus The Undertaker inside Hell in a Cell. So, and I completely agree with this vote. My favorite and the best match of 2015.
There's no argument in this, Graham. There's no argument. It was the best match of 2015.
No argument at all. It was, with 49.2% of the vote, Bayley versus Sasha Banks, NXT TakeOver Brooklyn, with the only runner-up being, not even close, Brock Lesnar, Cena Rollins from the Royal Rumble. Easily the best WWE match of 2015, but for in terms of NXT, it's got to go to Bayley and Banks, no doubt.
I completely agree. And it's funny because WWE.com ranked their top 25 matches of 2015, and they actually had the reverse. They had the triple threat being the best, and Sasha Banks and Bayley being the runner-up. So it's funny to see what your fans think, and that is what I agree with, in that Sasha Banks and Bayley had, I mean, it's easy to say that they had the greatest women's wrestling match of all time, but I mean, in terms of my fandom, I would put that in maybe the top 3 matches that I've watched and just totally been in shock and awe. I mean, they stole the show at the Barclays Center. They stole the show. I mean, I felt bad for Kevin Owens and Finn Balor in that ladder match because they really couldn't stand a chance next to Bayley and Sasha Banks. Mm-hmm. And I just think that it's unfortunate because we've had so many great matches in 2015. I mean, the list of matches you just named, we'd be lucky to have one of those in a calendar year. But we had all of those in just 1 year, which is really unheard of for this period in WWE. And we had all of those phenomenal matches, and it's 2 little spunky 20-something-year-old girls from the developmental system of WWE taking the prize. I couldn't be more proud of them. I completely agree. It's fantastic to see that these girls are just they're really revolutionizing. I hate to use that word that WWE loves to use, revolution, but they're revolutionizing women's wrestling. They're revolutionizing wrestling. Period.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I hate to sound like an asshole, but if you told me a year, or maybe not a year ago, because women's wrestling was already kind of coming back into the limelight in NXT around this time a year ago, but if you told me 2 years ago that my favorite match and the best match of 2015 would be a women's match, I would have never believed you. Because, I mean, back then, NXT was still kind of growing, but you're not going to see, a main roster. When I was putting together my best matches of 2015 for Bleacher Report, and I don't think WWE.com named any women's matches from the main roster either. I couldn't see, I don't think I remember seeing one. The only one that came to mind was the Fatal 4-Way in, I think it was England? Maybe,
yep.
I don't know if it was in England, but you know what I'm talking about. It was the Fatal 4-Way.
I remember,
yeah, with Paige, Brie Bella, Becky, and Sasha Banks. And that match was great. But come on, this match, nothing will ever come close. I said it the night after. I said it the day it happened. I mean, I know you're not too fond of the match, but my favorite match of all time remains with the build, aftermath, crowd, everything about it. CM Punk, John Cena, Money in the Bank 2011. But
don't say I'm not fond of it. I still think it's a good matchup. But
no, I know what you mean.
I still think that's one of all their encounters. I don't think that was their best encounter. But
yeah.
Go on.
No, yeah. Well, what I'm trying to say is that if there was any match that was going to give that match a run for its money as my favorite match of all time in my 7 years as a wrestling fan, it would be Bayley and Banks. It's just because I love Bayley. I loved her before, still love her now. Banks has grown on me all year long. The build, the video package, the aftermath, the crowd, grown men crying in the arena for a women's title change was just, it was magical. I mean, I don't think there's really any other word to describe that match as the match of the year. And I I can't disagree with the fans here. You can't disagree with the fans. I mean, other than the triple threat, I can see that, but like we said earlier, I mean, there was really no build to that match. The match was supposed to be Cena and Lesnar at the pay-per-view, and they threw in Rollins literally like a week or two before the pay-per-view, and it turned into an amazing match on what was an otherwise a kind of mediocre show. But this match had everything, and I don't know if anything will ever really come close to topping it, but it's amazing. I'm speechless. The match was great.
Graysky, I hate to interject, but I just had to fact check you. And on WWE.com's top 25 matches of 2015, coming in at number 20 was AJ Lee, Paige and Naomi versus Natalya and the Bella Twins on Raw of March 30th.
You're lying.
Coming in at number 20.
Are you serious?
And it's the match that AJ wore the Bayley shirt. She was endorsing Bayley, and I know she did that quite often. But,
oh my God!
The night after WrestleMania, apparently. I couldn't even tell you that match happened.
No, but the only thing I remember about that match, other than the fact it got maybe, I don't know, fucking 10 minutes, but who cares? I mean, everyone gets 10 minutes, and then why wasn't? I don't know. It wasn't a time limit. The only thing I remember from that match, other than it going pretty long, was the fact that the crowd was shitting all over it. And was chanting, "You suck Cena," or "You suck Bryan," at all the women, saying "You suck Uso," like, what I'm talking about. That's what people were that's what the people were chanting at the women during the match. That's the only thing I remember about it. Not that it was a great showcase.
This is how Mr. Greg Adkins of WWE.com described the action. He said, after AJ was punished for the bulk of the match, the self-professed Greek goddess finally managed to tag out. That's when chaos reigned. As all six divas charged each other, Nikki went to elbow Naomi, who dodged the blow. As a result, Nikki flattened her sister and was subsequently pinned by Naomi for the win. The match was not only memorable for its frenzied dynamics, but was arguably an opening salvo in the Divas Revolution.
Give me a break.
I don't know. That might be a little exaggeration right there, Mr. Atkins. I mean, I could tell you a bulk of what's happened since the Divas Revolution back in July of this year. I completely forgot this match even happened.
So did I. I mean, I would even argue if the only reason they were going to include that was because it was AJ's last match, but they didn't even mention that from what you said.
It wasn't even mentioned in kayfabe.
Oh my God! Then why would you even bother putting it there? I wouldn't put it on there at all. But if you're going to mention it, at least say it was AJ's last match. I mean, I would put the 4-way on there before that. I mean, I didn't even put this match on my list, but the only other match I was considering putting in my top 25, which they didn't put on theirs either, was Charlotte and Nikki either on Raw or Night of Champions, or even at Hell in a Cell. Those were, pretty good matches from main roster, women.
Terrible.
No, those are pretty good matches from the main roster women.
I remember they happened,
Yeah, exactly. It's just, yeah, exactly. I don't know. That's WWE.com. The rest of the list isn't bad. I just completely forgot that match was even on the list, much less it happened at all. That's, wow. But bottom line, Bayley Banks, Brooklyn, amazing. Just absolutely amazing.